Starting at midnight tonight, the U.S. is officially imposing a 25% tariff on all foreign-made cars, and that's just the beginning. Is this the start of a global trade war, or is it a historic reversal called Liberation Day?
Starting tomorrow, the United States will implement reciprocal tariffs on other nations. It's been a long time since we even thought of that, but we will charge them approximately half of what they are and have been charging us. So the tariffs will be not a full reciprocal. I could have done that, yes, but it would have been tough for a lot of countries who didn't want to do that. I'd like to see the chart, if you have it. You bring it up, Howard. This is our great Secretary of Commerce, Howard Lutnick. So if you look at that, China, first row, China, 67%. That's tariffs charged to the USA, including currency manipulation and trade barriers. So 67%. I think you can, for the most part, see it. Those with good eyes, with bad eyes, we didn't want to bring it. It's very windy out here.
Welcome to Trump Tariffs. This is where we expose the truth behind the biggest news stories on the planet. Today, you will witness Donald J. Trump's shocking announcement, America's Economic Liberation Day. 1. Liberation Day. Declaration April 2nd, 2025. Trump declares a historic day, Liberation Day, the day America takes back its economic sovereignty. We will revive American industry. From now on, Americans will no longer be the underdogs in the global game.
We didn't want to bring out the big charts because it had no chance of standing. Fortunately, we came armed with a little smaller chart, so 67%. So we're going to be charging a discounted reciprocal tariff of 34%. I think, in other words, they charge us, we charge them less. So how can anybody be upset? They will be, because we never charge anybody anything. But now we're going to charge. The European Union, they're very tough, very, very tough traders. You know, you think of European Union, very friendly. They rip us off. It's so sad to see. It's so pathetic. 39%. We're going to charge them 20%. So we're charging them essentially half. Vietnam, great negotiators, great people. They like me. I like them. The problem is they charge us 90%. We're going to charge them 46% tariff. Taiwan, where they took all of our computer chips and semiconductors. We used to be the king, right? We were everything. We had all of it. Now we have almost none of it, except the biggest company is coming in. We're going to end up with almost 40%. Lee Zeldin is working to get their approvals. And it's an amazing company. Mr. Wei, of one of the great companies of the world, actually. They're coming in from Taiwan, and they're going to build one of the biggest plants in the world. Maybe the biggest for that. But 64%, we're going to charge them 32%. Japan, very, very tough. Great people.
2. 10% basic tax, 25% car tax, the tax revolution. Trump claims this is not retaliation, but economic justice. And America has had enough.
And again, I don't blame the people for doing it. I think they're very smart in doing it. I blame the people that sat right in that Oval Office, right over there, right behind the Resolute desk, or whichever desk they chose. But you see the numbers. The numbers are so disproportionate. They're so unfair. At the same time, we will establish a minimum baseline tariff of 10%. You notice that on the chart, and that'll be on other countries to help rebuild our economy and to prevent cheating. So we're going to have a minimum of cheating, and we're going to be very severe on the people that at the gate that watch the tariffs and watch the product coming in, because there's been a lot of bad things happening at the gate because the money is so enormous that you're talking about. There's never been probably anything like it in terms of the enormity, and there are a lot of bad things happening at the people that do the check-in.
3rd, immediate impact. Global corporations react. Apple, Meta, Oracle, Nvidia, TSMC announced hundreds of billions of dollars in investment in the U.S. to avoid taxes. Trump did not just swing his sword, he created the most attractive shock to the global industry.
And they're looking at 10-year jail sentences if they do play. We're going to treat them so good. But if they cheat, the repercussions are going to be extremely strong. Foreign nations will finally be asked to pay for the privilege of access to our market, the biggest market in the world. We're right now the biggest market in the world. We had a great country 4 years ago in terms of the economics. We were doubling up on China. We were doing so well. Nobody was going to catch us. But so much of it slipped away over the last 4 years under Biden. I campaigned on this policy throughout last year, and today, that promise was made. And it was also a promise, as you know, that was kept. Promises made, promises kept.
The unprecedented war, globalization versus economic nationalism. Call it the war of the century between free trade and protectionism. How are countries reacting? EU, Japan, China, negotiations, retaliation. The world is on the brink of a global tariff war.
They sold the first carton of milk at a very low price. But then it got worse, and then it went up to 275, 300%. So when they did the math, what was Canada charging? They said, oh, about 2%, 3%. But look at what happened later when you look at it a little bit. It's not a pretty picture, and we don't like it, and it's not fair. It's not fair to our farmers. It's not fair to our country. And countries like Canada, we subsidize a lot of countries and keep them going and keep them in business. In the case of Mexico, it's $300 billion a year. In the case of Canada, it's almost $200 billion a year. And I wonder, why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? I mean, at what point do we say you have to do your own work and you have to? This is why we have such a big deficit. This is why we have such a big debt over the years.
5. The long-term plan, one big beautiful bill, and rebuilding America. Trump promises new tax law to give every American a future. From autos to agriculture to microchips, America is making it again. If you want zero tariffs, make it in America. It's that simple.
And we really can't take it anymore. Through non-tariff barriers, the European Union has banned most of the poultry from the United States. They say, we want to send you our cars. We want to send you everything, but we're not going to take anything you have. Australia bans, and they're great people and everything, but they ban American beef. But we imported $3 billion worth of Australian beef from them last year alone. They won't take any of our beef. They don't want to, because they don't want it to impact their farmers. And you know what? I don't blame them. But we're doing the same thing right now, starting around midnight tonight, I think. And China charges the American rice farmers an over-quota tariff, called a 65% tariff. Korea charges 50%. Actually, they charge something else, anywhere from 50% to 513%. And Japan, our friend, charges 700%, but that's because they don't want us to sell rice and other things. Who can blame them, Madam Secretary? The Secretary of Agriculture, by the way, you've done a great job with eggs. Egg prices have come down 50%. You've brought them down 50%. When we got in, egg prices went through the roof. Egg prices went through the roof, and you did a great job. Now we have a lot of eggs, and they're down a lot cheaper, about 59%, and they're going to come down even more. We charge 2.8% on a lot of things that other countries are charging 200%, 300%, 400%. If tariffs and protectionist barriers were making countries poor, every country on earth would be racing to abolish them, and China would be the first to suffer.
Conclusion. April 2nd, 2025. The U.S. declares a reverse trade war. 10% basic tax, 25% tax on foreign cars, a series of huge investments pouring into the U.S. Could this be a historic turning point or the beginning of global chaos? What do you think? Is this liberation or disruption? Leave a comment below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss the next videos. In the next episode, we will analyze how will China react to this tax shock. Don't miss it.